Why were sit-ins important for the civil rights movement? Imagine a peaceful protest that changed the course of history. Sit-ins played a key role in pushing for racial equality during the civil rights movement. These protests started in the early 1960s, mainly at lunch counters where Black Americans were refused service simply because of their race. By sitting quietly and refusing to leave, protesters showed the injustice of segregation laws. They made it impossible for the public to ignore the unfair treatment Black Americans faced every day. The first major sit-in happened in Greensboro, North Carolina, in 1960. For Black college students from North Carolina, A&T State University sat at a whites-only lunch counter. They stayed there 4 hours, despite being told to leave. Their act of courage inspired similar protests across the South. These sit-ins were not violent. They were peaceful and meant to show dignity and strength. They challenged the idea that segregation was acceptable and demanded change. Martin Luther King Jr., a leader of the civil rights movement, supported these actions. He called the sit-ins a creative protest. King himself joined sit-ins, including one in Atlanta, where he was arrested along with students and local activists. His participation brought national attention to the movement. When King was jailed, it made headlines and drew more support from the public and political leaders. President John F. Kennedy even intervened to help secure King's releases. Sit-ins also helped build momentum for important laws. They showed the power of nonviolent resistance, a principle King championed. By peacefully confronting segregation, sit-ins exposed the cruelty of racial discrimination on television and in newspapers. This helped sway public opinion and put pressure on lawmakers. The protests contributed to the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. In the end, sit-ins were more than just protests. They were a way for Black Americans to stand up for their rights without violence. They empowered young students and activists to take action and made racial injustice impossible to ignore. These peaceful demonstrations helped change laws, shift public attitudes, and strengthen the leadership of Martin Luther King Jr. and other civil rights leaders. They showed that determined, peaceful resistance could challenge even the deepest roots of segregation and discrimination.